Speaker Bagbin has championed several institutional reforms and the welfare of members and the parliamentary service during his first term as Speaker. In addition to this, he is the first Speaker of this House to demunicify Parliament by taking the institution to the doorsteps of the people of Ghana. He is married with 2 kids. I so move. Thank you.
But before I second this motion, before I second this motion, this House is an independent constitutional body. The mandate given to us to elect a speaker is engraved in the provisions of the Constitution, in particular, Article 95 of the Constitution. The Speaker
are very clear. When you rise to second a motion, there must be no remark, no debate. What the minority leader, who has not told us if it is now spiritually okay for him to sit in the minority leader's chair, I don't know what his spiritual advisors are telling him now. He cannot be violently violating our standing orders with such impunity. We cannot accept it.
Mr. Chairman, to rise to second a motion is a voluntary act. If he's not interested in seconding the motion, he should sit down. I rise to second the motion. The motion is therefore seconded. Thank you very much.
Whenever I say PENDREAM TV, PENDREAM TV, there, I see them. You
called to the bar and became a solicitor and advocate of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Honorable Bagbin later earned a postgraduate certificate on privatization of public utilities at the Eastern and Southern African Management Institute, Tanzania, in the year 1999. He also has an executive master's in governance and leadership from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA. Right Honorable Bagbin entered Parliament on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress in 1993. He won 7 consecutive parliamentary elections. He was Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker decided not to contest as a member of Parliament at the end of his term of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic in the year 2021. He was elected Speaker of Parliament of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. Within these years, spanning some 28 good years, Honorable Alban Kingsford Bagbin served on various parliamentary committees and chaired several of them. He served as the minority leader from January 2001, a position he held for 8 good years until he transitioned to the majority leader and leader of government business in the year 2009. Honorable Bagbin again served as the Minister of Water Resources, Works and Housing, and later the Minister of Health between 2010 and 2013. In 2014, he returned to the House as the majority leader and leader of government business for the second time. He was elected the second Deputy Speaker in January 2017 for the duration of the 7th Parliament. He was a member of the task force responsible for the President of Ghana's priority project in health, education, and transport from 2013 to 2017, famously referred to by Ghanaians as the 3 wise men. Right Honorable Speaker also served and continues to serve on several boards and international organizations. This includes, currently is the chairman of the Parliamentary Service Board of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana that dissolved today. He was a member of the Parliamentary Service Board for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th Parliament. And he was also in attendance as a member of the Parliamentary Service Board for the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. He was a member of the African, Caribbean, Pacific, and European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly, the ACPEU, at Belgium between 2013 and 2015. He was again a member of the International Council for Parliamentarians for Global Action. He is again the founding member, Global Organization for Parliamentarians Against Corruption, GOPAC, between 2004 and 2014. He was a member of Parliamentarians for Global Action, again between 1994 to 2017. He was the vice president of CPA between 2021 to 2022. Currently the president, Conference of Speakers, and president of African Legislatures. He's a member, International Advisory Council for Global Governance in Washington, and a member of the International Council for Political Renewal, again in the United States, Washington. For his outstanding leadership and lifetime of dedication to public service, both in Ghana and abroad, Speaker Bagbin was awarded Doctor of Law Honoris Causa, LLD, by the University of Professional Studies, UPSA, in the year 2017. Right Honorable Speaker has won a significant number of international and domestic awards. He's a strong advocate for gender and social inclusion, women's rights and empowerment, and equitable representation in Parliament in all decision-making across the country and globally. He's also noted for his principled, courageous, firm, decisive, and resolute personality. Right Honorable Bagbin is a man of high integrity and a Democrat par excellence. Mr. Chairman, Speaker Bagbin has championed several institutional reforms and the welfare of members and the parliamentary service during his first term as Speaker. In addition to this, he is the first Speaker of this House to demystify Parliament by taking the institution to the doorsteps of the people of Ghana. He is married with 2 kids. I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder? Round Minority Leader.
Chairman, it is my distinct honor to rise to second this motion ably moved by my respected colleague, Dr. Kesil Atoba Fosu. But before I second this motion, before I second this motion, under the rules of this House, which secondment requires that there should be no need for remarks or debate, I shall address some preliminary matters before. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, this House is an independent constitutional body. The mandate given to us to elect a speaker is engraved in the provisions of the Constitution, in particular, Article 95 of the Constitution. The Speaker The Speaker, he hasn't called you.
Mr. Chairman, your guidance will be needed in this matter. This is my 4th term in this House, and this is the first time in the history of this Parliament. Our standing orders are very clear. When you rise to second a motion, there must be no remark, no debate. What the minority leader, who has not told us if it is now spiritually okay for him to sit in the minority leader's chair. I don't know what his spiritual advisors are telling him now. He cannot be violently violating our standing orders with such impunity. We cannot accept it. So, Mr. Chairman, please, we invite you to ensure that this solemn occasion proceeds with respect for our Constitution and the standing orders of the House. If you have some, you call it preliminary remarks, you can do that out of the confines of the motion and secondment. You are minority leader. You are well within your right to make your preliminary remarks after. You cannot be violating our standing orders. Please, let's be careful the precedent we set. This is so bizarre. It's never been seen in this House. So, respected minority leader, please. And, Chair, I'm getting the impression that the
one is not entitled to make remarks or debate. But, Mr. Chairman, we all heard the venerable, distinguished, astute lawyer, minority leader, Honorable Afenyo marking loud and clear. Mr. Chairman, he said, and I quote him, "Before I second the motion," and end quote, "before I second the motion." Mr. Chairman, he had not seconded the motion. And he did go a step further, Mr. Chairman, he did go a step further to say, before I second the motion, I would like to make some preliminary points. And so, Mr. Chairman, I will pardon my friend and brother, the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa. He is not a lawyer. And therefore, by a basic rule, Mr. Chairman, by a basic rule or canon of interpretation, even a lay person will appreciate that the distinguished minority leader is yet to second the motion, and therefore he's entitled to make the preliminary points he sought to make. So let the minority leader make those points.
Thank you very much. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members, we shall proceed with seconding of the motion. And honorable minority leader, please proceed. Brevity is the rules of the game.
Mr. Chairman,
Roxy, sit down.
Mr. Chairman, to rise to second a motion is a voluntary act. If he's not interested in seconding the motion, he should sit down. I rise to second the motion. The motion is therefore seconded. Thank you very much.
which one? You are not sure. What happened? You don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, minority leader, just a minute. Would you kindly resume yourself, minority leader? Minority leader, I'll give you the floor. All right. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. The Honorable Minority Leader was on the floor before the other Honorable member interjected. The rules of the House. Honorable members. Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader, please continue with the seconding of the motion. Please second the motion. Please second the motion.
Mr. Chairman, our Constitution, Article 95, provides that there shall be a Speaker who shall be elected by members of Parliament from among persons who are members of Parliament or who are qualified to be elected as members of Parliament. Mr. Chairman, I have in my hand a statement issued by the office of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, titled President-elect Mandate NDC Parliamentary Leadership to nominate Right Honorable ASK Bagbin as Speaker of 9th Parliament. It reads, the President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has in consultation with the National Executive and Parliamentary Leadership of National Democratic Congress mandated the nomination
Mr. Chairman,
of the Right Honorable Abansuman Kingsford Babi as Speaker of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, this letter is signed by Mr. Felix Ofosu, Kwachi Ofosu, as Special Aide. Chairman, the preliminary issue I'm raising is to the effect that the nomination
Mr. Chairman,
only requires the consent
where from
of
that
the
letter?
person to be nominated.
Where from that letter? That letter, where is it from?
Situation where
It must not be tolerated.
that the
Where from that
executive
letter?
now directs that a
Where
member
from that letter?
should nominate would make this arm of
This is the
government
House of Records.
an
Where from that
appendage
letter?
of the executive. Mr. Chairman,
No, where from that letter?
that is the objection that I have. Having made that point,
Where from that letter?
I need, Mr. Chairman, to also draw your attention
You see, Sammy,
to the fact
you have
that
been vindicated.
in 2001,
Jethro.
7 January, when
Is
Right
this
Honorable
seconding the
himself,
motion?
as minority
What
leader,
is doing?
was seconding the motion ably moved by J.H. Mensah for consideration of Alajete as the speaker. These were his observations, and I read from column 4 of the Hansard of 7 January 2001. I quote, ASK Bagbin, NDC, Nadole Kalu North, as he then was. He says, Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion urging this House to accept the nomination of Mr. Peter Alajete as Speaker of the 3rd Parliament of the 4th Republic. He goes on to say, Mr. Chairman, in doing so, however, I would want to register the displeasure of the minority side on how this issue has been handled. Mr. Chairman, it is part of the rules of democracy for us to be heard. I am not opposed to the motion, but my concerns must register for Hansard. And the man that we are proposing for the high office of Speaker himself has set a precedence where in seconding Alajete, The chair allowed him to raise his concerns. Let us tolerate each other. I am here with his own records. Mr. Chair, my contention basically is that in view of the improper consultation from the majority side in this matter, and in view of the fact that, Mr. Speaker, the executive in a public statement is directing the honorable majority leader to nominate a person. I hold the view that
Honorable minority leader.
No, I have to come in.
There is no any executive. Honorable minority leader. Honorable minority leader. Honorable minority leader.
There is no any executive.
Honorable minority
Which executive?
leader. Honorable minority leader.
What born? There is no executive.
Recognize honorable members' intents. But let me make a point. Honorable minority, I am the chair of these proceedings. Let me make my point. Honorable minority leader, there are extraneous matters which I believe should not be part of this process. You were to second the motion. The other information you were tendering, the other information you were providing is not an information which is before this house. It is not part of the process for consideration for nomination of the speaker. So, in seconding the motion, these matters ought not to have been brought to the floor of the house. Let me make that point. In doing so, I recognize Honorable Muntaka, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Chair, ordinarily I would not have reason to speak, but because we have rules and you have a leader grossly abusing it, I need to draw his attention. Aside Order 7, I want to refer the minority leader to our standing orders 11510. And in 11510, it says, and I read, under rules of debate, and I read, a member seconding the motion or an amendment shall state, Mr. or Madam Speaker, I beg to second the motion or amendment, except that this may be without limiting the right of the member to speak later at a later stage within the debate. Most importantly, Mr. Chair, 11, it says, a mover of a motion or amendment may speak in support of the motion, but subject to these orders, no further, and that's where the emphasis is, no further debate is allowed until the motion or amendment has been seconded. So while you are saying, yes, it's within your right as a member, and even when you go to Order 8, after seconding and the motion is taken, before the speaker is called to take the chair, the standing order allows a member to get up and make other comments before that chair. So all we are saying is that in what you are doing, you are abusing the rules. You can second the motion, let the motion pass. If you have something to say, you get up and you cut the out of the chair, and then you'll be allowed to speak. So with this, you are abusing our rules, and we need to draw your attention. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Honorable minority leader, I take it that you have seconded the motion. If you haven't seconded the motion, honorable minority leader, you will second the motion. You will not proceed on any other matter apart from seconding the motion. So long as I remain the chair of these proceedings, you will not do any other thing apart from seconding the motion. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have heard Honorable Muntaka, I disagree with him, but I'll reserve that for another day. Mr. Chairman, with the greatest respect to you, wait, Mr. Chairman, with the greatest respect to you, a preliminary matter is a preliminary matter. Having raised them, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, having raised them, I shall proceed, therefore, to second the motion moved by my legislator colleague.
The motion for the nomination for consideration for election to the office of the Speaker has been moved and ably seconded. Earlier, I drew attention to the relevant provisions of the standing orders, which requires a consent letter from the person nominated. Let me indicate, I have in my hand a consent letter addressed to the Clerk to Parliament, Parliament House Accra. Attention, Mr. Ebenezer Ahuma Jetro. Written consent to be nominated as the Speaker. Pursuant to Order 7.2 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, I hereby consent to be nominated to be elected as the Speaker of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Your cooperation is highly solicited. Signed, Right Honorable Aban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. So we have the consent letter. Having secured the consent letter, yes, it is appropriately tabled. It is appropriately tabled.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV. I see say a lot of people are moving from the traditional media to the social media. And PENDREAM, you are setting the pace because you bring the issues as they are. And the those are the issues. And then Unipa are not ready for just ordinary endorsement. But people want to hear the issues. What are the issues? What are the possible solutions? So for me, I'm endorsing PENDREAM TV. And I'm recommending, sir, Obi Biana who affiliated traditional media and why you're bored with it, I'm going to live up to expectation. Your next last stop, PENDREAM TV.